What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Mr. Mustache MMA News. Today, I want to discuss an exciting upcoming middleweight bout this Saturday in the UFC. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly to help the channel grow. All right, guys, getting right into it. We got Chris, the Action Man Curtis, taking on Roman, the Russian Chase Hooper Kopylov in the middleweight division in a fight, guys, where, I mean, this is a tough one. This is a tough fight for both fighters. You know, as you guys know, if you guys have watched my channel before, I'm a big fan of Chris Curtis. I'm a bit biased in this fight, but you can't help but acknowledge the tough opponent that he has ahead of him in Roman Kopylov. Now, a little bit of inconsistencies within the UFC. At one point, though, did put together a 4-fight winning streak, all via knockout. I mean, it looked good each and every single time, but then ran into Anthony Fluffy Hernandez and got subbed in the second round of that fight. Came back, fought the kickboxing specialist in Cesar Almeida, and looked good early, but once his gas tank zapped, he had to mix the martial of the arts, right? And got the fight to the ground and was able to grapple his way to a decision victory. And, yeah, he's super dangerous, tall, long, and lanky. He's deceptively fast. But against a guy like Chris Curtis, who's a consummate veteran, Chris is a guy who normally, in the past has fought, at 170, a bit of a small 185er, but still nonetheless built like a brick shithouse, has that one-touch knockout power, dangerous throughout the fight. He carries that power throughout the fight. He's always going for the hunt, always marching forward. But the problem is sometimes with Chris is that he gets in his own head. He gets frustrated in fights, when things don't necessarily go the way he wants to, right? And sometimes shit happens, like the Kelvin Gastelum fight. When he had the clash of heads, you saw him kind of get frustrated, lose focus. In the Brendan Allen fight, you see him, lose a little bit of focus in that fight. The Jack Hermanson fight, you see, that is a prime example. I've talked about it in the past, and he even commented on one of my videos itself. It's just, he wants to fight so bad sometimes, and he gets frustrated when guys aren't really willing to fight his fight. But he can do it everywhere. Great boxing, great wrestling defense, phenomenal strength in the pocket. He can kind of do it everywhere, but it's just really about him just being patient and staying fluid, letting the fight come to him in a sense and not try and force the action. But I think here in this fight, he's probably gonna take a little bit of damage early, but I don't think Kopylov is gonna Kopylov I think can definitely, the head kick is the one thing I'm worried about with Chris here in this fight, but I think that he'll be able to keep his hands up. I think that he'll be able to keep a good enough guard. And I think he'll be able to stuff whatever takedowns that Kopylov is going to throw his way once he starts finding success on the feet himself. I hate that it's a 3-round fight. I think Chris Curtis should always be fighting 5 rounds. But I do. I think, it's not that I'm biased on Chris Curtis. I just think he's that good. And at 37 at middleweight, I don't think that affects him all that much. I think he's got a couple years left in him. I think he's still right in that thick of his prime. He's got that dad strength, that old man strength kind of kicking in now. And I just think that he's just, as long as he stays focused and doesn't get frustrated, like the Nasser D. Nemavov fight is another good example. It's just as long as he stays focused and pulls the trigger when he needs to as well, because he can be quite hesitant. But against a guy like Roman Kopylov, who is just very fast, very fluid, very dangerous, great kickboxing, long, great reach, uses it very well, dances in and out. Love his footwork. I love watching him fight. But I think Chris is going to get this fight. As a fan, I don't know. Yeah. It's a tough fight, but I got Chris in this fight. I want to know, though, and aside from the whole beliefs on what Chris Curtis is going on, I don't even want to touch on that. I like to think about what goes on in the octagon, not outside of it. I don't really, I could care less. So I want to hear what your guys' thoughts on the fight and not what on Chris Curtis's personal life is either. Guys, that's to do it for today. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly. That's to do it for today, guys. Mr. Mustache, MMA News out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.